From 2 Corinthians chapter 12 verse 7 to 8, which says, "Unless I should be exalted above measure through the abundance of the revelations, there was given to me a thorn in the flesh, the messenger of Satan to buffet me, lest I should be exalted above measure. For these things I besought the Lord thrice, that it might depart from me." Please, I want you to listen to me. Paul had a thorn in the flesh, and he called this thorn in the flesh a messenger of Satan. Take note, a messenger of Satan means a messenger sent by Satan, not by God. Some people believe that God gave Paul a thorn in the flesh to keep him humble and to teach him a lesson. The truth is that it is not God that gave him a thorn in the flesh. It is a messenger of Satan that was sent by Satan to incite people to oppose Paul and his teaching of the grace of God. Most times when people oppose you, they are not opposing you because of you. They are opposing you because there is something that God gave to you in abundance that the enemy is afraid of, so the enemy incites them. How many of you here, you can relate with this? Somebody is making life miserable for you, and you are wondering, what do I even have that they are talking about me this way, that they are gossiping about me this way, that they are jealous of, that they are envious of? You are asking yourself, what do I have? Ladies and gentlemen, there are things that you have that you are not aware of, but the enemy is aware of it. Case in point, Job. Every day Job makes sacrifices, asking God to forgive his children in case they have sinned. But Job is not aware that God has blessed the work of his hand and caused his goods to increase and put an hedge round about all his property. But Job said, what I was afraid of have happened to me. That means that Job was afraid of losing those things. But God had put an hedge round about him so that the enemy cannot touch him. But Job is not aware. He keeps living in fear. Ladies and gentlemen, your fear is not real. You didn't hear what I said? What you are afraid of does not exist. What is fear? False evidence appearing real. It's false. It's not real, but it appears as if it is real. Most times we wonder, what is it that I have that makes people to always attack me? Until hear me, you have so much in abundance. There's abundance of grace upon your life. There's abundance of gift of grace. There are things that God have given to you in abundance. You might not be aware, but it's visible. The enemies are seeing it. You know, if you are beautiful, it's one thing to be beautiful, it's another thing to know that you are beautiful. Most times what we have, we don't know that we have them in abundance. Please pay attention to what I'm saying. Have you ever had a child like Asuko? Had a baby girl. Do you know that the girl might be growing? It will be growing. The girl is growing. Do you know that everybody outside will notice it, but the parents will not notice it? Like for example, my son Chimobi just celebrated his 6th birthday. They brought a cloth for him to iron. That was when I now realized that this boy has grown, because the trouser he used to wear now has become jump up. But when we went to go and bath, people are saying, Pastor, is that your small son? The boy has grown. They drew my attention to his height. They said, look at his height. So very soon, and you and this boy will be struggling too. But I'm not aware, but people outside are seeing it. Paul said that a thorn in the flesh was given to me because of the abundance of grace. While you are going through what you are going through, it can be said that it is because of certain things that God has given to you that the enemy is afraid of. Don't forget, this messenger is not from God. He's a messenger of who? Satan. Sent not to pamper Paul, but to buffet him, to give him a blow. Now this statement is not literal. This statement is used metaphorically. Metaphorically is a metaphor in the sense that what is being written here has another meaning. The meaning of thorn in the flesh, simple, goes this way. It is difficult situations caused by difficult people that are being incited by this messenger of Satan to make the preaching of gospel not easy for Paul. Don't forget, who is the root cause? A messenger of Satan, sent to buffet Paul, to oppose him in the preaching of the gospel. Do you understand what I'm saying? Now, having said this, what was Paul's response to the thorn in the flesh? How did Paul respond to the thorn in the flesh? How do you respond when things are difficult? How do you respond when you are experiencing or dealing with a thorn in the flesh, or like a pain in the neck? How do you respond when you marry a difficult spouse? How do you respond when you have a child you love so much that decided to go wayward? How do you respond? How do you respond when you are in a relationship? You are expecting the relationship to bring you to the altar, but the relationship is taking you to a club. How do you respond whereby you are expecting to be a first class student and the lecturer is making sure that you don't graduate? How do you respond? How do you respond whereby you have started building and you discover that you are building on somebody's land, that the person who sold the land deceived you? How do you respond? How do you respond that a marriage you are expecting to take place in December suddenly is cancelled? How do you respond whereby you pay your rent and you have a difficult neighbor and you don't have money to pay for another one? So that's what we are going to look at. How do I handle a thorn in my flesh? And watch, not a thorn in another person's flesh, is a thorn in your flesh. Will you cut off your flesh? Remember, the thorn in the flesh is there to buffet you. Now, if it is a thorn in somebody's flesh, you can find a way to deal with that. But it's a thorn in your own flesh. How do I handle such a situation? There are fathers that are in this house, you can relate with this. You notice that the child you love most is the one that brings so much trouble in the house. How do you respond? How do you handle such situation? How do you respond to a difficult boss where you are working? You love the man, you are working very hard. But when the man wants to hammer anybody, he will single you out. Even in something that does not relate with you, you will be singled out to be dealt with. How do you respond whereby you are serving your auntie very well, but the husband does not want to see you? How do you respond to a neighbor that want to take everything that belongs to you? Ladies and gentlemen, there are people that are difficult to deal with, true or false. And the worst is that when they are family members. Hello? Why are you quiet? Are you a pain in the neck to somebody? Are you a thorn in somebody's flesh? Now you must know how to deal with difficult situations. You must learn as a Christian how to deal with trouble. Jesus didn't promise us a trouble-free world. He said in the world, you shall have tribulations. You shall have. Are you in the world? In this world, there will be tribulation. One of my friends is very funny. He makes joke with every word. He said tribulation is triple trouble. Three troubles. Jesus said, in the world you shall have tribulation. There are things you will suffer not because you sin. You will suffer it because you're a Christian. There are people who will oppose you because you have the light of the gospel in you. Devil will incite them to oppose you. How do you handle this situation? That the child you love is the one that have taken you to police station. I know a father is in court with his own son. His son took him to court. Should you pray, fall down and die? How do you deal with the situation that the man you love, you call your husband, is the one making life miserable for you? And they will come with, as a Christian, you don't need to divorce him. It's a thorn in the flesh. How do you respond to such situation? How? Because you need to know. Let's look at Paul's response. What was Paul's response to his own thorn in the flesh? The Bible reveals that he besought the Lord thrice. For this thing here refers to the thorn in the flesh. For this thorn in the flesh, I besought the Lord thrice that it might depart from me. What was Paul's response? Paul's response was besieging the Lord. Besieging the Lord is actually a biblical approach in handling a thorn in the flesh. To besiege the Lord. The Greek word transliterated as besought is paraklelio. Paraklelio. Or pronounced as paraklelio. Which means the following. Number one, to call to one's side. To call to one side. Hence, for help or comfort. That is, you are calling somebody to come and help you. So when Bible reveals to us that Paul besought the Lord, Paul was calling for divine help. Paul was calling on God to help me in this matter. It also means to call for help or to summon somebody to come. It also means to call near, to call somebody to come closer to you. That is to invite or invoke. To beseech, that's also the meaning. It means to call. It means to entreat. It means also to pray. So guess what was Paul's response to a thorn in the flesh? Prayer. That word paraklelio means to address. How do I handle a thorn in the flesh? You don't neglect it. You address it. Hello? Hello? You don't keep quiet. You do what? You address it. Where do you address it? You address it in the place of prayer. It means to speak to. How do you speak to your thorn in the flesh? In the place of prayer. It means to call upon, which may be done in the way of exaltation, entreat, comfort, instruction. It means to beg. So when Paul besought the Lord, he begged God. It means to entreat. Please listen to me, everyone. There are things you cannot handle by your own power. Are you hearing me? There are things you can't handle by your own power. You need the help of the Lord. So when Bible said that Paul besought the Lord thrice, it means that Paul prayed about it. Are you hearing me? Paul prayed about it. Paul called for divine help. To besought is the past tense of beseech. It means to beg for urgently and anxiously. To beg for something urgently and anxiously. Keyword is urgently. Urgent means calling for immediate attention or presenting your request as a pressing need. Sir, there's a way I will ask you of something, you will not take it serious, true of us. But if I present it as an urgent need, even though you will not like to do it, you will stand up to attend to me, true of us. Now, Paul didn't just, oh God, there's a thorn in my flesh. No. God, if you can. Now, there are ways not to respond to thorn in the flesh. Number one, don't complain. Most times we mistake prayer for complaint, or we take complaint as prayer. Don't come to a place of prayer to complain. Complaining is not praying. Most times believers will say, I have prayed, while in the real sense what you did was complaining. God, have you seen this problem? This problem, it will kill me. It will kill me. It will kill me. Okay, you don't want to answer me. Me, I'm going. That is complaint. It's not prayer. You are quiet now. So okay, I want to pray over this my problem. You lock the door. You start murmuring. That's another way you ought not to respond to your thorn in the flesh. Don't murmur against God. Another way you ought not to respond to your thorn in the flesh. Don't complain about the church. The church is not your thorn in the flesh. Most times when people have problem in their home, in their career, they will bring it into the church and transfer the aggression. Next thing you hear something like, God is not in this church. This church is cold. There is no power in this church. Let me go to another church. Changing church will not solve your problem. Take it from me. Moving from one church to another church will never solve your problem of thorn in the flesh. Please, everybody, listen to me. Carrying anger and beef against the man of God is not way to solve your thorn in the flesh. Notice things are hard in Nigeria. People who are the receiving end are not politicians, pastors. Open your Facebook or social media platform. To every post that is made, 90 of them is an attack against the church and pastors. Is it today that some pastors bought aeroplane? No. But why is it now is an issue now? Indirectly, what they are saying is that pastors are the reason why we are suffering. But it's not true. The same market you will go to tomorrow morning or today is the same market your pastor will go to. True of us. The same school that your children are attending is the same school that pastor's children will attend. All my children, they are schooling in Calabar. You are paying school fees. I'm also paying school fees. You buy a bag of gari for 8.5. Pastor will buy for 8.5. There's a wrong way to respond to your thorn in the flesh. And that's what I'm telling you. Don't go that wrong way. Another wrong way people respond to their thorn in the flesh is that if there are people close to them, they begin to attack them. Some persons are in your life to help you. So don't attack them when you have problem. How many of you have seen a man that is drawing? If you want to help him, if you are not careful, you will drag you into it. For the fact that you are going through problem and your friend is succeeding does not mean that your friend should die. I repeat that again. For the fact that you are going through stuff, and when you are going through stuff, your friend you used to give money is now rising, does not mean that your friend should die. That's a wrong way to respond to the trouble you are going through. There are things I've seen in church. Somebody just gave a testimony that God bless him. His closest friend is angry. So what you are telling God, that God, you made a mistake. For the fact that God has blessed your friend means that he's closer to you. The thing, if they go round, if they walk around, it's turn by turn. Listen, life is all about time and turn. It can be your time, but it's not your turn. Now, this is where we have problem. We find it difficult to wait for our turn. Let all your friends be married, and the one you thought that will marry you is beating you, and he has kicked you out. That does not mean that wedding they fix this weekend should not hold. Don't start gossiping. Karen, I know what they are using. I know what they are using. This is not my friend. I know where my friend is from. This is not my friend. If I tell you there's one woman somewhere, that woman used to put white basin, put water. Used to go there every Monday. You know you are lying. Don't allow what you are going through to go through your heart to the point that it flows out of your mouth. You begin to blackmail people. Blackmail people. No, don't do that. You begin to attack people. They call this person, you attack the person. He's a very stupid man. It's a thorn in your flesh. How do you respond to it? The word besought also means to request for help earnestly. To request for help earnestly or employ. That is to make an earnest request or intense and serious request. Very important request to someone. The problem is ego. You are going through stuff, but you don't want to tell people that you are going through stuff. But you are complaining that they don't want to help you. Have you heard this statement? Church people, I've been around church. They make this statement a lot. In this church, they don't help. In this church, they don't help. It's not true. Who have you asked for help? You are going through stuff. You lock yourself in the house. Members of the church, they are not ghosts. Neither are they using witchcraft. If you are going through stuff, ask of help earnestly, intensively, and in a serious manner. Shout, let people know that you need help. It's like a man that is drawing inside water, and he keep quiet and be swallowing the water. He said, help me, help me. Be sincere and be honest. Humble yourself, drop your ego. For the fact you used to give a bro money in church, and now God have lifted the bro, and the bro is your friend, and you don't have transport. Why take oneself from a center? Why? And the the brother has a car. God has blessed him with a car. And it's your friend, a brother in the church. Then when they now finally they are not seeing you in church, one person just decided to knock at the door and now saw you dying. So why are you like this? Why are you suffering like this? He said, I said it in this church. They don't help. Who did you ask of help? The word "besought" in Greek, para, claim, means to call for help. Call someone to help you. And the best person to call is God. Let me give you this advice. Before you call any human being to help you, make sure you call God. Because it's only God that knows who can help. Don't call on somebody because he has money. Having money does not amount to being generous. Some people, they have money, but they are not generous. See, there's somebody who will have 50,000, somebody who will have 5 million. Ask God who you should call among the two. You might be looking at the house 5 million naira to spare 50,000 naira. It's not a big deal. You go, you hear something like, I don't have. You might even be the account officer of that person. You saw the person lost 5 million. You say, is it because I lost 5 million naira? Then you are coming to ask me. That's why you must besought the Lord. Beseech the Lord in the place of prayer. Ask God first before you ask men. God will tell you. See, I learned this by experience. There's a time I couldn't pay my rent. Why are you looking at me that way? Am I the only one that could not pay his rent? I could not pay my rent. So I came up with an idea. Let me call some of my friends to ask them to assist me. So I decided to call those who have been assisting me with good money. So I took my phone. The first person I called, the wife said, thank you, Pastor. Thank you that you called. They're about to take my husband into theater. It was the things that the doctor said that this operation is 50-50. Pastor, we need your prayer. Pastor, where are you? Can you come to teaching hospital? To ask of anything disappear. I carry phone. I called the other person. He said, oh, man of God, you are in the spirit. I'm at the airport now. I need your prayer. I am flying out. I'm in Lagos. I'm flying out of the country. Is it such a person that will send you money? Yeah? So I now stopped. Cracked my head. I found out that my brain had failed me. So I said, God, where are you? God said, I did here. You didn't consult me before calling. Then God said, take your phone, call this person. The person I'm about to call me. God said, take your phone, call this person. I hesitated and when I reached out to my phone, the person called me. Said, Pastor, where are you? I'm having an occasion. I would like to see you right now. I rushed. It was a big occasion. He said, I've been trying your number for days. So I could not reach you. You know, when you are owing rent, your phone have to be off. Wisdom is profitable to direct. Now, the man called me. People were so much. I said, I cannot ask this person. I'm hearing a voice. Ask now. I said, no. Later, I now called in the night. I said, how did you go? He said, fine. I said, Pastor, you didn't stay for reception. Pastor, I don't know. You should come. I have some souvenir and some things for you. I said, I'm coming right away. When I came, I said, Pastor, drink that, finish you. Let's just. Pastor, you should have stayed. I said, listen, I've not paid my rent. He said, Pastor, you've not paid your rent? I said, yes. He said, why haven't you told me? You would have told me in the morning. How much is the rent? I said, 400,000. The person walked inside and said, all the money I came with, I came in total with over 10 million naira. And let me check what was there. And guess what was left? 400,000. Listen, God knows who is generous, not who has money. Stop looking at people by what they drive. Every man has a thorn in the flesh. The rich also cry That's why before you ask any man, kneel down. For the fact that your uncle is rich does not mean you.
Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.